Anthony Joshua just agreed to fight Jake Paul, and if that sounds impossible, that's exactly why the boxing world is losing its mind. The leaked deal claims it's official: Joshua versus Paul, live on Netflix this December in Miami. One is a former unified heavyweight champion. The other is a YouTuber turned fighter with everything to prove. And if this report is true, it's either the greatest marketing move in boxing history or the biggest embarrassment the sport has ever seen.
And so I like the challenge. People, that's the criticism. Fight someone in their prime who's a beast. I think people just want to see me lose. That's really what the message is behind it all.
Jake Paul's talking about fighting Gervonta Davis, who's 135 pounds. And then on the other hand, he's talking about fighting a 260-pound monster in Anthony Joshua. Listen, he's crazy enough to probably do it all if the money's right.
Just wanted to come in here and remind everybody that that bum couldn't beat me when I basically had a broken hand. I had one hand and he still lost. Jake Paul, I'm still your daddy.
The madness exploded when Ring Magazine's Mike Coppinger dropped the bomb. This wasn't clickbait. This was a verified, detailed report from one of the most credible insiders in the game. He claimed the contracts were being finalized for a December showdown on Netflix. Within minutes, every sports page, every pundit, every fan on the planet went into full-blown meltdown mode.
Right, we mentioned earlier that Anthony Joshua still didn't have an opponent for his next fight, but he was thinking of still fighting before the end of the year. And we've got some breaking news for you now, because we're hearing that AJ is in talks with Jake Paul over a deal for a heavyweight fight in Miami next month. Of course, the YouTuber Paul has already fought the former heavyweight champion of the world, Mike Tyson, and beaten him. And he's now in talks with Anthony Joshua with a view to the two of them fighting in Miami next month. We'll keep you posted.
Here's why this story matters. Jake Paul was desperate. His hyped exhibition against Gervonta Tank Davis was canceled out of nowhere, leaving him with a gaping hole in his calendar and a multi-million-dollar Netflix event hanging in the balance. No fight means no payday. No fight means a public humiliation. He needed a name that could not only save the card, but blow up the internet.
Yeah, just broke the news here a couple of minutes ago that Jake Paul will be fighting Anthony Joshua next month in December in Miami. As we all know, Jake Paul was set to have an exhibition actually this Friday against Gervonta Davis in Miami on Netflix, and now he's going to fight, instead of having a fake fight, basically, I don't want to say fake fight, but an exhibition against 135 pounder. Now he's going to fight a heavyweight in a real fight, and it's a bout that was in talks earlier this year. And look, I know that it's a major business, but still got to give Jake Paul major props, right? He's fighting Anthony Joshua. We saw what Joshua did to the last non-world class boxer he faced, which was Francis Ngannou, and flattened him in 2 rounds last year. So I think it's fascinating.
So he reached for the biggest, wildest name possible. Anthony Joshua, a man whose knockouts echo through arenas. The kind of opponent you don't just fight, you survive. For Jake, this was the ultimate gamble. For Netflix, it was pay-per-view gold. And for boxing, it was pure chaos.
And so I like the challenge. People, that's the criticism. Fight someone in their prime who's a beast. I think people just want to see me lose. That's really what the message is behind it all. And Anthony Joshua is an insane fight, but I want that challenge. We've been DMing back and forth. He wants to make it happen. He called me up, and it's looking very likely for next year.
But here's where the plot thickens. Why on earth would Anthony Joshua even consider it? This is a man who's fought legends, filled stadiums, and made tens of millions. Yet after a crushing loss to Daniel Dubois, he's been silent, searching for a comeback. A fight with Jake Paul offers exactly that: low risk, huge money, and total control. The kind of payday you don't say no to.
Jake's trying to get anyone to fight now.
Yeah,
Francis Ngannou, Ryan Garcia, AJ.
We're hearing AJ again.
Yeah.
Maybe Eddie Hearn would have to, just admit defeat and say, fine, it happens on Netflix, but it's an absolute king's ransom.
It's yeah. Oh,
it's a king's ransom.
Yeah, it's, if I'm AJ, like I used to remember saying at the time, like, don't do it, it's rubbish, doesn't help your career. Ade, shut up. You're getting gifted 70, 80 million for a sparring session.
And it would do whatever views Tank Davis versus Jake Paul does, triple them for AJ.
It would do bigger than Canelo Crawford.
I know it would. It would do bigger than Canelo Crawford.
Yeah, I think it would do bigger than Canelo Crawford.
Do much bigger.
Yeah, because every single man, woman, child over here will watch it.
Everyone over here would watch it. The fact that it's a heavyweight, it's not a lightweight.
Yeah, it's
People
a
in
fight he's
America would
supposed
be
to
like,
lose. Because everyone wants to see Jake Paul get chinned, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's ultimately what we're going to say.
That's what everyone wants to
so
see.
there'll be a queue of people queuing up with their Netflix account, just waiting to see if this big monster can chin him.
If you think that sounds cynical, you're not alone. The internet's reaction wasn't excitement, it was outrage. This isn't a fight, one fan wrote. It's a public execution. Sports radio host Gareth A. Davies went viral after saying, "I don't want to see a decapitation." That word, decapitation, became the headline of the day. Memes flooded in. Bookies started offering odds on how fast Joshua would knock Paul out. Most fans picked round 1.
Yeah, I've spoken to Nikisa a few times on it. I mean, there's nothing to report to you that it's close, or there's a lot of hoops to jump through. Of course, AJ is exclusive to DAZN. We also work very closely with His Excellency, and although we have no contract with him, we're in talks for big fights next year, of course.
But then came the twist, doubt. The rumors started to look too crazy to be real. Some fans started calling it a setup, a work, a scam designed to sell headlines and subscriptions. And then Tommy Fury, the only man who's actually fought Jake Paul, dropped the bombshell quote that broke the internet. "If this fight goes past 2 minutes, I'll take that as AJ's been paid off."
But we're not really interested in waiting until 2016. And we're certainly not basing our career around a potential fight with Jake Paul. But if we were offered it, why not? I mean, it would be such an easy night's work, and it would be massive. And Jake's smart. Look, I know that we have our back and forth. Jake's improving as a fighter, and you have to respect the fact that he's dedicated not just to the business, but also to the hard graft of boxing. I still don't think he's particularly good, but he's a decent, some level fighter. But he's crazy. At first, I always felt that Jake was just using these people's names. I think he's got that many people around him that I wouldn't be surprised if he thinks he's got a chance against Anthony Joshua. Jake, I watched him, Jake. You'll knock him out. Yeah. It's like, but, there's a difference between fighting Gervonta Davis, even Canelo Alvarez, and then fighting AJ. The other two you can get just humiliated and schooled and beaten up a little bit. The other one you can be fully decapitated in. So you've got to be careful and you've got to be smart. And I know you want the money, I know you want the big moments, but this ain't a game.
That line changed everything. Suddenly, this wasn't just a fight rumor, it was a conspiracy. People started asking if Netflix was quietly building a scripted circus instead of a boxing card. And that's when Eddie Hearn entered the ring.
Well, Anthony Joshua was talking about wanting warm-up fights before going into bigger fights, but look, it's prize fighting at the end of the day, and the way that Joshua will see it, and Matchroom and all the team, the fans won't like this, by the way. But
I don't like it
No,
either.
I don't like it either. But the way that Joshua will see it is as a money grab. He'll see it as an easy money grab, but at this stage of his career, is it a fight he should be taking? Nah, definitely not.
I don't want to see a man decapitated in Miami in a ring in December.
Listen, and that's what will happen.
14 months ago, he got beaten up by Daniel Dubois. He's been away from the ring for ages. Now he's stepping in against a YouTuber who's probably wouldn't even win a Southern area title. This affects his legacy.
Joshua's longtime promoter, one of the most powerful men in boxing, went nuclear on Twitter. "We spoke a long time ago, but nothing close," he said, "and I doubt he would be so crazy. Brutal, dismissive, but maybe too defensive? Because when a promoter moves that fast to shut something down, the story has teeth."
It's just a gross mismatch.
Yeah.
Like, you don't understand his health is in jeopardy. So, I'm not even entertaining it. I just think it's dangerous. And listen, I might have to work it, but it's just...
It's kind of ludicrous, isn't it, really?
It's insane. This boy is nuts. Is nuts. And I think he's putting his life before he's putting his life before money.
Yeah, it's
putting money before his life, which is just absolutely insane.
Now it's become a fight of its own. Journalist versus promoter. Mike Coppinger, one of the most respected names in boxing media, doubled down on his claim. He insists his sources are solid. Meanwhile, Hearn is acting like the story's dead in the water. One of them is lying. The only question is, which one?
I don't know if you've seen this fight's in the works, Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul. As a Brit, how do you evaluate?
I've just seen that. Someone just told me about that. That's mad. Fair play to Jake Paul, first of all, for taking it. But if AJ doesn't knock him out in like 1-2 rounds, then I feel like the fight must be fixed or something. Because I'm going to Anthony Joshua obviously for the KO. So yeah, when is it? You know?
It's going to be next month. They're working towards.
Oh yeah, sick. Yeah, I'm going AJ for the win.
Cheers.
And here's your reason to keep watching. There's a buried detail in the leaked report that no one's talking about yet. A name tied to the Netflix event that could prove everything. We'll get to that.
AJ took a year out. Easy fight for him. And I think this should be laid to rest because I don't think AJ's going to go in and try and pat. AJ's going to like smoke him.
Could AJ finish this in a round if he wanted to?
Depends. We'll see. But I will say this to AJ, don't let that guy knock you out, because that will be fucking nightmares forever. But 1 or 2, put it this way, AJ has to kill him in 3 rounds.
For now, this entire mess exposes the dark truth about modern boxing. It's no longer about belts or rankings. It's about spectacle, views, and viral moments. And Jake Paul, he's built for that game. The man thrives in controversy. Whether the fight happens or not, he's already won the headlines.
Just wanted to give a little opinion on everything I've been seeing on social media lately. Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua. Just wanted to come in here and remind everybody that that bum couldn't beat me when I basically had a broken hand. I had one hand and he still lost. Jake Paul, I'm still your daddy, and everybody weighing this fight up, don't bother, because he ain't worth a shilling. And the loss will always be there, Mr. Paul. Take it easy and have a good day.
But if it does happen, it changes everything. If Jake Paul even survives a single round against Anthony Joshua, his stock skyrockets beyond anyone's imagination. If he lands a clean shot, even better, he becomes a cultural phenomenon again. But if Joshua flattens him in under 2 minutes, Jake's empire takes a body shot that might never heal.
There's been some talk about possibly Joshua using Jake Paul as a tune-up to fight you. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't know about tune-up. I think Jake Paul knocks him out.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Why so? What impresses you about Jake Paul?
I just think Jake Paul would knock AJ out. I think AJ's a spent force, and I think Jake Paul's on the rise. And I like his new heavyweight look. Bit chubby, bit bulky.
And here's the cliffhanger. Coppinger hinted that Netflix's event contract includes a co-main clause, a backup fight if the headliner collapses. Insiders say that backup might involve another heavyweight name who's already training in Miami. The rumor? Deontay Wilder. And if that's true, then this circus just became a war zone.
For AJ to get a warm-up fight in, so to speak, and make a bundle of money doing it in a high-profile event, I think it's a win-win.
So the real question isn't whether Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul is happening, it's whether boxing has finally crossed the line from sport into full-blown entertainment theater. And maybe that's exactly what the promoters wanted all along. Because in a world where chaos sells, truth might be the only thing getting knocked out.